Yo, what's good? It's Mastermind MMA, and this is my UFC 197 fight card picks. Breakdowns, what I think is gonna happen, my predictions, and I'm gonna start with the top up, from the top down. So I'm gonna start from the main event, go down on. If I feel like I know enough about the prelims and the undercard, then I will. But we'll just see how it goes. Let me just dive right in. So, main event, UFC 197. John Jones Bones, the number one pound for pound king, versus Ovince St. Preux, who's ranked number 6 in the light heavyweight division. They say it's for the interim light heavyweight title, but in my opinion, I think it's for the legit belt. I think whoever, John Jones is the rightful owner of the belt. Yeah, I get he got stripped and all that, but if you listen to the interview he did with Ariel Helwani when Ariel was walking with him in Albuquerque, went down to Jackson Winks and all that, where he had kind of the high top fade and the clean shaven face. He was saying that when the hit and run accident first happened, if you guys remember, he was scheduled to defend his title against Rumble. They already did media face-offs. I don't know if you saw that media face-off where they try to fake that they were getting into a fight, pulled a prank on Dana White, but that was the fight that was supposed to happen. So he said when Dana and Lorenzo came to visit him, he felt like they were ready to ask him, so are you still ready to fight? And then when he said he's not fighting, they said, we're gonna have to strip you. So the stripping of the title, yeah, to the public it seems like he fucked up and his title got stripped, but when you peel the curtain back a little, it's the fact that he wasn't willing to fight, and that's kind of the penalty he had to pay. It was losing his title. Almost the same thing they're doing with Conor. You know what I mean? He's saying he's retiring, he's not fighting, and then they call his bluff, and I'm well, you gotta let us know if that's true, because we're gonna strip you. That's all for another video. But John Jones, what I was saying to this fact is, we all know he beat Daniel Cormier. His last fight was the DC fight, and it was pretty clear he was the winner. So to call this an interim championship where the guy he just beat is quote unquote the legit title holder, I don't agree with that. I feel like every true MMA fan knows that John Jones is the king of that division, and even if they say it's for an interim belt, it's just a political thing. We all know this is a true title fight, and if you go down the ranking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I mean John Jones even to 7. John Jones beat those guys already. The people are, I'm going to be totally honest with you guys. When I first heard this fight was announced, I was disappointed because I wanted to see the Rumble fight. But as this settled in, I'm pretty glad that this is the fight. You know what I mean? I don't want to see John Jones face Rumble on 3 weeks' notice, because you gotta give it up to Anthony, man. He is dangerous. One slight mistake and it could be all over. And he even said in an interview this week, I didn't accept the fight at all because I think we deserve to give the fans the true title fight that they want to see. I agree with that, man. 100% I agree with that, and I respect it, because I do want to see it as, even if it's political, I don't want to see any asterisks to a Rumble Jones fight. And I don't want to see it on short notice. I want to see both guys at their fullest potential, fully prepared for each other, ready to go. I agree with that. OSP, he's a dangerous guy, man. You know, his last fight was against Rafael Feijão, who was the last person to beat Yoel Romero. I believe that was in Strikeforce. He's cut now. I don't know too much about that, the reasonings. I don't know too much about Natal, or not Natal, Feijão, sorry. I don't know too much about Feijão, but it is what it is, you know. And OSP, you know, in that fight, it was very visible. He hurt himself. So, you know, he hurt his foot. He was icing his foot. Looked like he came into that fight with an injury. So I think, you know, if you see his finish against Shogun, and, you know, his submission percentage is 21%, his knockout TKO percent is 53%. So, you know, he's a dangerous guy, and he's a southpaw. I put a video up where John Jones was talking that he might just fight St. Preux as a southpaw as well. That'd be interesting. Okay, so here's how I think the fight's gonna go. We're seeing a stronger, faster, more relaxed John Jones. More relaxed in the sense of he has time off. He had time to miss it. He had time to want it again. You know, when you're kind of caught up in things, it just seems like a job. Now he actually has the opportunity to kind of go back to appreciating what he had, and, you know, that enthusiasm. I feel like that enthusiasm is going to show. Not only is it gonna you know, come through in this fight, but there is a lot of pressure on John. I mean, no pressure of him. Oh, my bad, I hit my mic. No pressure of him being like, oh, is he going to be like this or be like that? We all know with all the things that John Jones was doing, he was still winning in the past. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not even saying anything to that. But now the pressure is the public opinion. Because I'm not a person to judge John for what he did or what he does or whatever. That's him. That's cool. And honestly, I'm more endeared and drawn more to John because I'm like John in that sense. So I really relate to John in that aspect. But, you know, now he's in a place where he has to be where people are questioning his character, which is ridiculous. You know what I mean? People are questioning his character, and, you know, he's been a good guy. Nothing about his personality has come off bad to me. And if people judge him for what he's done, like the cocaina and the other things like that, well, you're just probably a square that doesn't understand things, honestly. I'm sorry. But you probably don't go out that much, don't have a large connection of friends, and you're probably a reclusive, or probably someone that's ostracized greatly. So that's my take on that. So when it comes to all that, that's not important. But the thing is, he's kind of fighting for his perspective, in a sense, of how people view him. Because if Jones gets caught, it's gonna look bad, but that's totally outside the point. He's not gonna lose or get caught. I don't believe anything can happen, but I believe he's too smart of a fighter to do that. So John Jones versus OSP. I think in the first round, John Jones is gonna be a little more cautious, and he's going to be a little more reserved. He's going to take his time to figure OSP out, get his timing down a little bit, you know, figure something out, find his range, get comfortable into a game plan he wants to execute. I feel like OSP is going to come out initially a little bit reserved, but then I feel like he's going to come out guns a-blazing very fast. And I feel, because his best shot is, OSP I'm speaking, his best shot is in the first round where the timing's not down and where John Jones doesn't have a lot of time to get used to it. But I think John Jones has dealt with enough world-class opposition that he knows how to safely be in that adjustment period of reading your opponent. So my call is second round TKO. I think John Jones is going to get him down in the second round, and he's going to rain down elbows, or he's going to catch him with something and rain down some elbows, and it's going to get stopped. Or another, I feel like that's what's going to happen based off what I've seen already and what we know of John. But, I mean, John really could have developed phenomenal knockout power with the shape he's got in. So we could see John Jones turn into a heavy-handed guy. And honestly, I'd prefer that, just because think about how much more interesting that matchup with Rumble will be if they both have one shot done power. My call, second round TKO. I'm going to say towards the middle and the second round TKO, winner Jonathan Jones. Okay, the co-main. Excuse me. The co-main. Mighty Mouse versus Henry Cejudo. Henry Cejudo is like 10-0, I believe. He's a gold medalist, Olympic wrestler, and Mighty Mouse is 22-2-1, no contest. I mean tie. But Mighty Mouse, his technique is phenomenal, and his only loss is to Dominic Cruz. Henry Cejudo, as phenomenal as he's looked, I don't know if we've seen him face this. I mean, we haven't seen him face this level of competition. I kind of would have been more comfortable with making a call if, like, I've seen a Cejudo face a Joseph Benavidez to be able to gauge that step up in opposition. But he's a good guy, meaning like a good fighter. But, it's going to be interesting to see how he deals with Mighty Mouse. I don't know if Mighty Mouse's last fight was the Dotson fight. I think it's got to be. I think the Dotson fight has got to be his last fight, because I don't remember hearing anything else after that. But, John Dotson, he shut John Dotson down. And when I watched that fight, I didn't know that much of John Dotson. I didn't know. I haven't seen much of Dotson's work before that. So, when I saw that fight, that was kind of my main impression of John Dotson. And DJ shut him down. But then when I saw and remembered, oh, this is the same dude that knocked out TJ Dillashaw, and because sometimes you see people in passing and you don't really correlate things, but he had a knockout over the former bantamweight champ. It was during the Ultimate Fighter. It wasn't when TJ was at that level, but he looked bad in the Mighty Mouse fight. It was like he was getting hunted down. And if you just saw him, he just knocked a guy out really quick. John Dotson in bantamweight and on Saturday. on that Teixeira Evans fight. So, I can't pick against Mighty Mouse out of respect purely. It'd be interesting to see an upset, but out of pure respect for what he's done in the octagon, I gotta pick DJ. I honestly don't know that much about Cejudo to predict an upset. You know what I mean? And he's got a unblemished record, so we don't know how he'll react to dealing with someone that can deal with him, essentially. You know what I mean? So yeah, my pick for that's DJ, Mighty Mouse. The next fight, and remember, I'm going from the top down, so I just covered the main event, co-main, and I'm going to the next fight, which I am looking forward to. Anthony Showtime Pettis versus Edson Jr. Barboza. Barboza's coming off of a loss to Tony Ferguson, or as Khabib Nurmagomedov would say, Tony Ferguson. He, I don't even know if you would call that fight controversial, because there was an illegal kick thrown by Ferguson and it did rock Edson Barboza. So, I mean, like, that kind of sucks because that was a good fight. If I remember, I think Tony caught him in a darce and ended it. But, Tony was looking phenomenal, like, rolling for knee bars and shit like that. So, he looked good. I just wish that kick didn't happen. So, just so it would have been a cleaner result. You know what I mean? But Ferguson got the finish, and you never know when guys say, like, oh, they're good, they're unaffected, because who really wants to look like that? You're like, oh no, I got hit, I'ma stop. Especially guys that are as tough as UFC fighters. You know what I mean? They didn't get that far by being pansies. So even if he was like looking through a tunnel vision, he probably would have said he's all right. But I'm not taking anything away from Tony because he looked phenomenal on that. Edson Barboza is a dangerous striker. Pettis is a dangerous striker. These guys are very similar in a lot of aspects. Pettis is 18-4-0. Barboza is 16-4-0. So, their record is very similar. Pettis has a 56% KO TKO rate. Barboza has a 63%. Pettis has a 28% submission. Barboza 6%. So, there's only an inch height difference. There's in favor of Barboza, there's a 2-inch reach difference in favor of Barboza, and a 1-inch leg reach difference in favor of Barboza. But these guys are both Taekwondo strikers, So I am really, really looking forward to this fight. I am really, really, really hoping that this fight turns out to be what the fans are expecting it to be. Because this fight should be one of the most entertaining fights of the night. I'm gonna make a call and say this is gonna get the fight of the night performance bonus. Because this should be a striking clinic. I'm gonna go. My pick is gonna be Anthony Pettis. I solely because, both these guys are coming off of losses. Both these guys are coming up from their back against the wall. Barboza needs this win. Pettis needs this win. So I'm expecting to see the best version of both of these guys as possible. But the thing is, Anthony Pettis is I feel like his back is more against the wall. I feel like because he kind of fell from grace in a sense. He he was the lightweight champion, lost the belt to RDA in what some people would call an embarrassing way, man. Like, you don't want to go out with that. But RDA essentially set the blueprint on how to beat Pettis. And then Eddie Alvarez took that blueprint and excuse me, sorry about that. He took that blueprint and stripped down to the bare essential of just holding him against the wall, the cage. And I haven't seen many of Eddie Alvarez's fights. I saw his fight against Pettis, and that was boring, man. Yeah, you know, as a fighter, not as a fighter, but from a fighter's perspective, I see as long as I get the W, I'm good. But from a fan perspective, it's like, come on, man, make it a little entertaining. But, so he went from that RDA thing, had to deal with Alvarez like that, and he went to Jackson Wink. I have a great respect for Greg Jackson and Mike Winklejohn and their abilities and what they do with fighters. I think Pettis has been around a high breed, an elite breed, and he is an elite fighter, mostly an elite striker. He has some weaknesses, but his striking is phenomenal. Barboza's striking is amazing as well. So I'm hoping to see a striking clinic, but I think Pettis has got the edge because I think a fire got ignited within Pettis that he knows it's do or die. So shit. What round? I think we might see this go to a decision, but Showtime might get the finish. So, I'm not even going to make a detailed pick. I'm just going to say Pettis for the win. And just a quick footnote to this. My only worry is that Barboza is gonna kind of not abandon, but not utilize his striking in the fashion that the fans want to see, and he'll just kind of he'll incorporate the blueprint of beating Pettis. You know what I mean? Which would be smarter, but not as entertaining. Because if Barboza does that, that's not going to be the style matchup that we were hoping to see in the fight. Because this is two strikers going at it. So, what I'm hoping is it's going to be a striking clinic on both ends, and Pettis is going to get the win. Next is Whitaker, Natal. You got Robert Whitaker, Rafael Natal. I really don't care too much to make a pick for this fight or the Yair Rodriguez and Andre Philly fight. Philly? I don't even know how you say his name. But those are fights I'm gonna just watch, and whatever happens. I'm not invested. But I want Pettis to win. I'm picking Johnson to win, and of course John Jones. Um, yeah. So there's a lot going on. A lot of press being done, a lot of media scrums, a lot of people hitting up Jay and Dan, honestly, and I haven't gotten that much. I'm still in New York. Won't I won't be back in PA till like Monday, and and PA is really where I get most of my videos cranked out. But New York, I'm more out in the city, more out about running, doing things. So I don't have that much time to do it, but I gotta make time to do this pick video. A lot more things developed in the Connor the Connor situation. Um he released a press statement. Um he I'll do another video talking about it because this is the 197 video. But yeah, so basically expect Monday for videos to be coming hot onto YouTube. You already know it's Mastermind MMA.